This is a boat that came in that he needed depth finders wired in. Well, that's what we found, and the depth finder is actually on below the line what's getting done. Plus he wants his running lights fixed. Sort of blindsided by this one because we had an hour's time devoted to it, and it looks like it's a major project. Just bought the boat. He'd gotten it from another shop. They'd done $1,000 plus of work to it, and I'm going to show you the list of what they did. It's quite interesting. But anyway, just some of the things I see. The wiring on the trim. When you see that clip right there and it's rusted, that's the OEM. Came with the boat, new from the factory, with that inner shift cable on it. So it's never been replaced. If you look on the back of a boat and it's got that stuff right there on it, you know it's been running rich because you've got a choke issue. Notice the puddle of oil on the ground. It's coming from that fitting right there, and you can see the housings chipped. So it's going to end up getting another ram to keep it from leaking. Well, I'll move to the inside of the boat. I should just go down the list of things that just got done to this boat. This is, I just bought it again. So that was a 5/15/21, 4/21 work order. I cover up the name because I don't need to say who it was. Ignition switch, used carburetor, new module and distributor, water pump and lower unit oil, new battery, oil and filter change, 4 spark plugs, coil pack bracket, inline fuel filter, spark arrestor on top of the engine, 10 gallons of gas. And so that's what he was playing with. I really don't even know where to start on this one. So he put a battery in it, a new battery, but he didn't get a marine battery, so he used those clips right there, and that's ludicrous right there with that wire. That's house wire. I don't even know where it goes, but it doesn't go like that. The battery cable was loose on the battery. It wouldn't start. It stranded him on the lake. But he wired the battery in, and that's way too short. And someone's just made that because that's not standard wiring. Right here, that's ludicrous also. Anyone that let it out of a shop with that goes to your breaker in the back. So that's the first thing I saw. I saw that and said, so they've wired around the breaker. Oh, something started smoking underneath the dash also. Could have been because they didn't have a breaker on there. I'm not sure with what that is right there. That doesn't need to be a 3-gauge wire. Did this wiring right here. Someone that knows could probably tell me, but I believe that on the EST distributors is what you connect together to put it in base timing. So you could set base timing on it. This one right here was disconnected and just hanging around. They put a new fuel filter on it 3 months ago. If that's a new fuel filter, I'm just amazed. But the main thing was that when we started it up, he said the motor was really loud and he's got an exhaust intake leak. And the guy that worked on it said, oh, the muffler's leaking. No, the gasket in between his intake exhaust and his block is leaking, and you can see where it's coming out of there. if you put a used carb on, it'd be nice if you cleaned it up. And if you put a used carb on there, it'd be better probably to put a carb gasket on there instead of just cutting out a base gasket out of a piece of gasket material. That's water in his drive oil. I hadn't even approached that. So it came back in 515. Engine oil, did it again. Engine water pump. That's the water pump on the front of the engine. I've rarely seen those need to be changed. Oil sending unit pipe. So he was the one that did all that wiring over there. Starter wire was off. Well, he put a battery in it, new battery, so he was probably right there at the battery, so he knew what he was doing with the wires. Had to fill engine up with oil. Change the engine oil. So there it is. That's the second one on 515 engine oil. It just changed, if you remember that. Engine water pump, that's the front one. Tilt and trim oil, that's because it's leaking. And he took it to the lake and it ran good. So we're going to pull the manifold, fix the exhaust intake leak, correct the spark plugs. Yeah, new spark plugs, put auto light in there. Auto light in there. Replace the carb gasket. Make the oil pressure gauge work. After all of that, the oil pressure gauge doesn't work. We're going to fix the battery wiring to the distributor, fix the circuit breaker, and fix his trim leak. And then we're going to get to his running lights and depth wiring. So this is just one of the two that came in today that's like that. But that's really sort of how our Monday's been. Is it was supposed to be wiring on a depth finder, and we've got about a day's worth of work on this one.